Hi, I'm Dan. Thanks for tuning in to Dimgaard. So we're building the next campaign, the level 1 to 20 campaign. I presented like the 27th episode of that. This particular group that I've been running through this campaign as I'm building it is a very good group. And there were some things that came up in this previous session that were just extremely good that I wanted to share. Because it's not just relevant to that session or even to this campaign, maybe not even to just Dimgaard, but it is pretty Dimgaard specific. And there are things that I don't think you're going to get on other D&D channels. I'm big fans of the other D&D channels. I follow them related to the Dungeon Dudes and Coldle and all this. Big fans. Highly recommend if D&D is your hobby that you follow those guys. You get a lot of great information there. But these things I'm going to discuss in the next 15 or 20 minutes, I don't think you're going to find there. And I do think it's good stuff. So the situation is the PCs are now 14th level, and they need to conquer a Sahagin town. Sahagin, the shark humanoid underwater creatures who follow Sikala, the shark deity. The PCs have a supporting army of sea elves and tritons, but they in order for that army to avoid being just annihilated, the PCs need to eliminate the Sahagins' command center, their leadership core. So that's the mission. The PCs, that's the adventure, is that the PCs have to infiltrate the Sahagin village, eliminate the leadership of the Sahagin, and then once that's done, the Sea Elf and Triton army can move in. So the PCs do that. The PCs get into town, and at the core of the Sahagin town is a major temple to Sikala, and it's very clear. Even if there hadn't been a cleric in the party, which there was, this is like a primary temple, like it's like a religious site for the Sahagin. This is one of their primary temples to their primary deity. So the way that things roll out, they've taken control of the temple, eliminated the defenders of the temple, but the 1400-ish Sahagin town's creatures are now converging on the temple to retake it just by overrunning it. So they only CR 1/2. But there are 1,400 of them, and that's just overwhelming. So the PCs are going to have to evacuate and then send in their own army. But they have about 30 seconds, about 5 rounds, right, before the town's creatures converge on the temple. And so the question is, what are you going to do in this temple to Sikala? So Sahagin are evil, Sikala is evil. Everyone knows that. But this is, for that race, even though it is evil, this is a cultural monument. This is a significant site. There are pilgrimages by Sahagin to this place. Are you going to defile this sacred site before you leave, or are you just going to leave? And then if you are going to leave, it's very clear that the invading sea elves and tritons, they're going to destroy the temple if left to their own devices. So the PCs defile it. It's like they damage the altar and the iconography around the interior, and then use and then evacuate as the last second to avoid the mob of Sahagin. And they don't deliberately instruct the supporting army to destroy the temple, but they know that that's going to happen, and they are fine with that. They're like, yeah, we're not going to interfere. We'll just let the cultural mechanics take their course. So they destroy the temple, and so this is what's great about the Dimgaard campaign, and what you can take to your own game. So that sets up consequences, right? Sikala is not a a live and let live kind of, and especially if you go in and defile one of her primary temples and then allow it to be destroyed by your allies, she's going to be angry. She's going to send out dedicated followers to seek retribution. So Dimgaard adventures, Dimgaard sessions, I guess I should say, are very structured in this particular way. The adventuring day requires 6 to 8 medium to hard encounters, and so we always have 6. So that then leaves 2 as flexibility for the DMs. Like, okay, you've got your 6, and so we prepare as part of the Dimgaard material these set of special encounters where you have a situation that is very that there's a good chance will occur. Like in this case, you incur the wrath of the enmity of Sicula, right? So if you have the enmity of Sicula, there's a special encounter that a DM can inject in some future as the 7th encounter, or even the 8th if they have time for 2 special encounters. And so that's going to set up a enmity of Sicula, which is great. That is one of the things that I'm happiest about my Dimgaard campaign, is that ability to take the adventures, the campaign, and have it set up to where it is great for any group, but then the DM has the ability to tailor that experience to their specific group, right? Still use that core material and then add to it in ways that customizes it for their particular group. And special encounters are one of the mechanisms we do for that. So that was one thing that was really great. The other thing is so now we have the armies move in and they beat the Sahagin, but in the process of that, they capture several hundred of the Sahagins, right? They don't kill them all immediately. And so in Dimgaard, so under the rules of 5th edition, in order to craft a magic item, you have to have a formula. And that is left very open-ended for the DM to tailor to their campaign. It can be just as flavorless as, okay, great, you have the generic formula for creating a ring of protection. You can go spend the time and do it. But within the structure of the rules, it is almost expected, but definitely recommended, is that instead of just using an arbitrary featureless formula, that should be a mechanism to flavor your campaign. It's like, no, I know the specific elements you need to create a ring of protection. You need the blood of a blah, 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 and the feather of a blah, 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 and a twig from this blah, blah, blah tree. And so you set up a series of adventures to go collect those things rather than just, the abstract, flavorless, you do it in off scene. And so in Dimgaard, if you follow Dimgaard, you know this, but this is reiteration. Every single formula for a permanent magic item, part of that formula is the sacrifice of a sentient creature. That sentient creature has to have innate abilities that align with the magic item that's being created. So now they've got several hundred of these Sahagin that have natural armor, which makes them appropriate for creating magical armor. Up to I don't think because the Sahagin are not heavy armor wearers, they wouldn't be able to create heavy armor out of it. But they could create medium armor out in it. So there's that, and then they are water breathing. So you can create like a helm of water breathing out of them. They have a swim speed, so ring of swimming is in the mix. So then the question becomes, and that's what the Sea Elves and Tritons are going to do. They're like, oh great, we've got this population of sacrifices that no one in our culture at least is going to object about creating magic items out of them, that's what they're going to do. And so then you counterpoise that against our modern sensibilities, right? So it's genocide, right? It's not just genocide. It's like the worst type of genocide, because you're not just slaughtering this captured population, but you are binding their immortal soul in perpetual servitude as a permanent magic item, because their mortal soul cannot pass on to the afterlife because it is bound to that magic item. So it's like you couple the worst elements of enslavement with genocide. Well, in the context, the Sea Eyes and Drytons are like, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. That is deliberate, right? We hate Sahagins. We've hated Sahagins for millennia. We have the opportunity to do this thing that you just described, and we want to do it. So then the question comes up to the PCs: are you going to let them do that without, or are you going to try to impose any influence or constraints on that? And so the PC's constraints were, well, we want a cut of the magic items that are produced, and we don't really want to see all of them killed, right? Because there are only 6 of us. Once we have 6 or 7 magic items out of the deal, we're going to be good to go. So they limited it to 60 Sahagins to be, with the PCs getting 6 of the Brutus magic items. All right. So again, that goes. Then we lead into consequences, because they've just committed genocide against, participated in genocide against a Sahagin population. That's not all the Sahagin in the cosmos, right? There are lots of other Sahagins out there that are going to know about this war crime, this crime against their race. They're going to send. They're going to be heroes within those Sahagin populations that are going to go out to seek retribution and justice. So there we have another special encounter out of that. And even outside the Sahagin population, there are elements in the greater cosmos that view any magic item creation, even if you're sacrificing the most heinous creatures, to do so as a inherently vile and most evil act. And so they're going to be these are generally chaotic good forces too. Right? Most of these forces fall into in the chaotic good celestial camp. So there's going to be a special encounter around that too, where these forces have got to see the PCs as a violation of the fundamental principles of good conduct within the universe, because they've participated in enslaving and the 60 of these Sahagin souls and in perpetual servitude. So there's a special encounter there coming their way. So that's where we're at. So the reason I said this is my favorite session so far, in a good session, I will come away from that session, and there will be one situation that will have yielded a special encounter opportunity, and I'm very happy when that occurs. Right? That shows that the PCs are doing things in the campaign that is affecting the world specifically by their actions, and then the world is reacting back to them. And that's great world building and role playing and all the stuff you want from D&D. Highly entertaining for me as a DM. So normally I come out of a session with 1, but there I came away with three, which is like Christmas in July or August, I guess. So that's what happened last night at Dimgaard. You can take away from that things for your own game that I hope are helpful, or maybe give you some insight into Dimgaard that if you're using Dimgaard, which I hope you are, you will find helpful. If you find this little expose or discussion essay, video essay, whatever you want to call it, helpful or interesting, it would really help if you hit the like button and even subscribe, so that more people can. That helps the algorithm get this thing. I realize I'm low on production value. I'm all about the content. And but anyway, I hope you will hit the like and subscribe. Also, I'm active on a lot of social media channels: Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Discord. If you see me there, feel free to engage. You can even email me directly at dimgaard@gmail.com. There's 2 A's in Dimgaard, by the way. Always love to hear from people. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you again.